Hi, I'm Priya Ali, host of Living 365 TV. It's time to stop waiting and start living 365. Welcome to Living 365 TV. I'm your host, Priya Ali. This show is designed to bring you real experts, real tools for real people like you who are ready to stop waiting and start living 365. Welcome back to our show. Great to have you here again. Want to let you know once again that we are going to be at Oakville's largest holistic wellness expo on Saturday, November the 21st from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Living 365 TV will be covering this event. It's taking place at St. Joseph's Ukrainian Catholic Church. There will be over 85 local and surrounding practitioners and vendors. They'll be providing an abundance of different services, different modalities for you to try. And what you do is you pay a $25 entrance fee. You get in there, you've got free 15-minute services from all the practitioners. Over 85 to choose from. That's amazing. They're featuring natural health practitioners, doctors of alternative medicine, energy field practitioners, natural health products, as well as there's going to be some great jewelry and other merchandise for you to go and get your shopping done for Christmas. They'll be featuring speakers, and with that $25, they're actually donating 10% of that to a local charity. It's going to be an amazing day, and we hope to see you out there. And if you're in the Vancouver area, good news, we will be at the Body, Soul, and Spirit Expo in Vancouver from Friday, October the 30th to November the 1st. We will have a booth there at the PNE Forum. So for all our Vancouver viewers, we look forward to meeting you and seeing you come out and say hello at the Vancouver Body, Soul, and Spirit Expo. So today's show, ladies and gentlemen, is about the F word. That dreaded old F word, that thing that we're not supposed to talk about, we're not supposed to say the F word. Well, the F word is feel. And it's been an F word for me for quite some time, as I know it is for a lot of people. And it's about feeling and having feelings and feeling what we're feeling and how we feel about what we're feeling and how we maybe don't like how we're feeling about what we're feeling. So today what I want to share with you is really learning about feelings and how to embrace them and how to engage your own feelings, how to even be aware of your own feelings. Some of us don't even know we're having feelings when we're having them. So it's about letting you know how to access your own feelings, get in touch with your own feelings. And what does that even mean, really? Well, I notice that a lot of the times we just are on autopilot and we've learned not to feel our own feelings anymore. I've mentioned in other shows in the past where personally, due to circumstances surrounding my abuse and things like that, I learned at an early age to disconnect from my feelings because it was a lot easier for me to endure the things that were happening in my life at the time. And it just became a learned behavior where I just learned not to feel anymore. The thing with doing that, because usually when we don't want to feel something, it's because we don't want to feel pain or we don't want to feel something negative. We don't want to feel something uncomfortable. We don't want to feel something that hurts us. So we disconnect from feeling. But the thing with doing that is when you disconnect from feeling the bad stuff, you also disconnect from feeling the good stuff, which is something that I've had to learn over the years, is that I had just turned myself off from all feelings. And while I was able to enjoy certain things, I really wasn't able to deep down connect and feel them. And once I got tapped in, tuned in, plugged in, and connected to my own feelings, it really changed my life for the better. And yeah, I was feeling stuff that I wasn't feeling before, which made it a little bit uncomfortable too. But what I found was the amount of experiences that I was having that I really felt good about had increased because I was actually allowing myself to feel them. Now, so often I notice that people, as I said, are driven to not feel pain. I mean, really and truly, who wants to feel pain? And that's the biggest thing I think people try to do is to avoid feeling pain. And we do this by avoiding engaging in certain experiences. We don't want to do things that we think are going to bring us pain, which Kind of makes sense if you think about it. But at the same time, pain is an indicator. Pain is something that gives us an awareness of what's going on. Without the pain, you can't really know what the good feeling is. Without the pain, you can't really be connected with or in tune that something is maybe not quite right. So for instance, let's say you were touching a stove and the stove was on. Without that pain sensor in your body, you wouldn't know that your hand is being burnt. You wouldn't know that you're getting injured. And so that capacity, pain is there to serve you. It's there to give you a warning that something is not right. We need to change what we're doing. And oftentimes in relationships, it's pretty much the same thing. Because if we're experiencing pain or feeling pain in our relationships, it's likely a good indicator for you as well that maybe you need to be doing something different. Maybe you need to change it up a little bit. And one of the things with that is to be able to know that when you're experiencing pain, without it, you can't really know what the good stuff is. What I mean by that is, without love, there's no pain. Without pain, there's kind of no love. Now, what am I really talking about? When you love someone, that's when you're at risk of being hurt. That's when you're at risk of a heartbreak. That's when you're at risk of feeling pain. When you don't really care what somebody thinks about you or feels about you, they can't really cause you any pain because it doesn't really mean anything to you. So sometimes pain is a way of knowing how much you actually do love somebody, because if they were not there for you, or they weren't supportive of you, or they weren't affectionate with you, and the absence of those actions from them, or their existence or their presence, that's when you may begin to feel the pain. And like I said, without that love, you can't feel that pain. And without that pain, you can't feel that love. It's pretty deep stuff, but if you think about it, one just kind of has to go hand in hand with the other. Now, am I saying that you have to have pain in your relationships in order to be loved? No. What I am saying is that they kind of go hand in hand, and that you sort of can't have one without the other. And one is a measurement or an indicator or a sign of how much you do love somebody. Say you're walking down the street and a complete stranger says something to you, makes a comment. It's likely not going to bother you because you don't really know them. You'll probably make some comment in your own head as you fluff it off and, oh, that guy's probably an idiot anyways. What does he know? Because you have no connection to them, because you're not in love with them, or you don't have love for them, or you're not seeking their validation, or their value for you. So it doesn't mean anything to you. So what we're talking about is understanding that pain is usually a way of indicating that we have to do something different, and also it's a way of letting us know that we have care for someone, and that it's something about that person that if they were to withdraw their actions or attention, it would lead us to feel a pain. Now, why though? Why do we feel pain when someone doesn't act the way we want them to? Why do we feel pain when someone maybe doesn't want to spend time with us? Why do we feel pain when we don't feel someone loves us the way we want them to? Ask yourself, what is that all about? I mean, over the years, I've had to do that for myself, having gone through 2 marriages, having gone through numerous relationships on a family level, on a friendship level, on a business level. What that means when someone feels that way about us and we feel pain is almost a disappointment that maybe we're not worthy, we're not good enough, we're not valuable enough for them to love us the way we want them to, for them to be interested in us the way that we want them to, and that maybe causes us to feel hurt. But if you were to take that pain and turn it around and really look at, what is it about yourself that you could accept? What is it about this situation that you could accept that would allow you to feel just a little bit better? And why are you feeling the pain? Why is it that someone else's value or love for you, or lack thereof it, causes us to feel a pain, causes us to feel a discomfort? And normally when we get to a place of accepting ourselves, being comfortable in who we are, we sometimes will find that we just come to a level of understanding that it's something within that person that just doesn't connect with something within us at that time, at that moment. Maybe it will again later, maybe it used to, but at that moment, they're just not on the same frequency or the same level that we are at that time. And that would help us to really just sort of understand why this brings us discomfort. And as I said, for most of us, when you're trying to avoid pain, when we're out there trying to get into relationships, but really navigating our way through by trying to avoid pain, you're really missing out on a lot of great things. And it's something that I had to learn firsthand, was being skeptical about relationships of all nature and getting involved in them was to avoid being hurt again. So that would only allow me to put myself out to a certain degree because I was avoiding the pain. I was making sure that, oh, that could cause me pain, not doing that. Oh, wait, not going on this out for this occasion, that could cause me pain. Oh, not going to try this over here, that could cause me pain. And what that ends up doing is it ends up limiting your experiences in life. It ends up limiting how much you're really living your life. And it's one of the things that I really want to impress upon you through the Living 365 concept, the program, the way of living. When you stop avoiding the pain and you start living and you realize that it's all part of the process. There's going to be some days where there's some pain involved with something that you're doing, but when you let that stop you from moving forward again, or trying something else new, or taking that to another level, or repeating it even again the next day, it really prevents you from living your life to the fullest, because now you're living from a place of fear. Kind of like when you have a car accident, for those of you who have experienced it, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen it, even after you witness a car accident, never mind if you've been in it, you will start to be a little bit more careful, a little bit more cautious. You might slow down because you've just seen what could happen as a result of speeding or making a careless lane change or something of that nature. And the majority of us, even after just witnessing a car accident, will start to drive differently. Much less the people who have been in a car accident. Can you imagine how many people, for those of you who've already know firsthand, but have seen people in car accidents, they're afraid to get back in the car again. They're afraid to get back on the road. I know personally, when I was about 18 years old, I had a collision on the highway with a transport truck at about 120 kilometers an hour. And I had been really tired, and I was driving, and I ended up hitting the step of the truck, and it bounced me right across the highway, over the median, into oncoming traffic. And luckily I was okay. If you've watched my show on angels, you'll know why. But luckily I was okay. And after that, though, it took me a really long time to be able to drive beside a truck, because every time I got beside the truck, it would trigger that fear within me. It would trigger me back into that same moment of when the truck and I collided. And it would drive me to feel afraid and want to just pull away and just want to get off the road, or maybe not drive beside trucks, because I was so afraid of repeating and experiencing that pain again. So similarly to having to keep driving, because what was I going to do? Stop driving, not go anywhere anymore to avoid getting hurt again? That wasn't reasonable, practical, and it certainly was going to put huge limitations on my life. So I continued to get back in the car, and over the years I continued to disassociate myself with that accident, to recognize that that was a one-time thing. The circumstances of that particular day was my mother had just had a mild stroke and was in the hospital. I had been up for a very long time. I was driving a friend back home. I wasn't supposed to be driving that friend back home. I was 18 and he was my boyfriend at the time that I wasn't even supposed to have. So the stress of all of that, trying to get him home and get back, being tired, I could never recreate that situation again if I wanted to. Imagine me trying to repeat everything I've said to you over the last 10 minutes, verbatim, word for word, pausing exactly where I paused, breathing exactly where I was breathing, blinking at the exact same times I blinked. It's not possible. It really isn't. So a lot of times when we're trying to avoid these feelings of hurt and recreating the pain, you really can't recreate something. You can create it again in a different scenario, but you really can't recreate something. And that's one of the things that people tend to get caught up in, is they're trying to stay away from experiencing something again because it hurt so much that time. But what we don't always realize is we're not experiencing it again, we're creating it again, which is really a very different thing. You're not in the same space, you're not in the same physiology, you're not in the same mindset, you're not the same age, you're not breathing the same, you're probably not even the same body weight, you've got different food in your body, you've had a different amount of sleep. So everything about you is different, meaning that that incident can never be the same. But what can be the same is the emotional attachment that you give to it, the neuroassociation, which is the meaning of that incident or that interaction that you give to it, the impact that's going to have, and the feeling you choose to have based on that interaction or that experience that you're having. And those are all things that you choose, and they can't just happen upon you. You actually have to make a choice. So when you come up to a situation and you feel fearful, one of the things you can do is let your body know that everything is okay. Because sometimes we're able to change our minds. We're able to, in our head, know. I mean, when I was on the road driving my car after those accidents, I knew it wasn't the same truck. I knew that I was okay. I was safely away from it. I was fully awake and alert, and I was paying attention. But my body has had what we call emotional body memory. And the body will actually remember the situation, and it will send a signal to your brain and say, hey brain, this is what this is. And your brain says, oh, okay, hang on, let me get the program for that. And it runs that fear back through you, and the signals keep going back up and down. So by changing it and by letting your body know everything is okay, everything is okay. This is not the same situation. I know it feels like the same situation, body, but it's not the same situation. You'll allow the body to relax a little bit and send a different signal up to the brain, which will change your scenario and will change your experience, which in turn will help you to eliminate the fear. I just want you to realize how many good things you could be missing out on by getting caught up with fear, by getting caught up with feelings. And everything is basically comes down to two feelings. It's either something that comes from love or it's something that comes from fear. And really at the end of the day, you get to choose. So where do you want to come from? Do you want to come from a place of love, or do you want to come from a place of fear? It's all a choice. It's all a choice. Your feelings are yours. You choose them just the way you do your outfit in the morning. And it's very important that you think about how you want to feel. And once you choose that feeling, you can begin to put your body in a situation to support it. So one of the things you can do when you choose a feeling of joy or happiness, if you're going through a moment of fear, is to take a step back and say, hey, how would I want to feel right now? Maybe I prefer to feel joyful or happy or peaceful or excited instead of anxious, upset, fearful, worried. Now what you can do is you can ask yourself, can I remember a time when I felt happy or joyful or at peace, calm or excited? And when you sit there for that moment and you think about that incident or that past experience, it will actually change the way you're feeling. It'll change your physiology, and it'll start to change the way that you're experiencing your life in that moment. Think about how you were breathing during that moment. Think about how you were sitting in that moment. Think about what your facial expressions were like. Think of the thoughts that might have been running through your head. Think of some of the sounds that you were hearing. Think about how bright the colors were in the scenario that you can remember. And by doing that, you'll actually put yourself into another state of feeling. And when you find yourself in a feeling that's uncomfortable, another thing you can ask yourself is, what can I do or what can I choose to think about, feel, or experience that would make me feel slightly better? Just ever so slightly better. Because that's the step of moving away from a negative feeling, is to just take it one tiny step at a time. Sometimes it's really difficult to go from 0 to hero. It's really difficult sometimes to go from trauma to nirvana or bliss. That's a big jump to make. It's almost like me asking you to start at the bottom of a 14-staircase and make one leap and go up to the top. It's kind of unreasonable. It's a little bit too much to expect. So what we ask you to do is just to take it one step at a time and move yourself up ever so slowly, keeping your mind reassured, your body reassured, and your spirit reassured that everything is okay, that all is well, and the feeling you're feeling, it's okay to have that. We're so quick to want to get away from the fear or get rid of the pain instead of just embracing it and allowing it to be there. So think about everything I've said. Try some of the strategies that I've given you today. If you need extra help, reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to help you. And as always, remember to stop waiting and start living 365.